Legenda Manchesteru United i reprezentacji Danii jest moim Państwa gościem, Peter Bolesław Schmeichel. Hello, Peter.
Hello, how are you?
I said Bolesław because I want to ask you about Polish roots at the beginning. You obviously have one. Bolesław is after your great grandfather, but actually your father, Antoni, was Polish.
Yes, my father, who unfortunately passed away in May this year, was born in Poland and lived in Poland till he was 29, and then immigrated to Denmark.
Do you have do you feel it like small percentage of Polish, I don't know, mentality, personality, characteristics, I don't know.
I don't know exactly or precisely if I do that, but I always felt that I was a little bit different in terms of my mentality and what I wanted and how my work ethics and compared to what my friends were. If that is being half Polish, then yes, but I can't say for sure.
But you, Antoni didn't learn you Polish words. I met him after the Denmark game when you beat us 4-0. I met Kasper as well. He was both nice guys, but Kasper didn't know Polish language besides one swear word.
Did he? I don't even know that.
He got this term in Leicester.
Dziękuję, dzień dobry, zuhaj. I don't know. I mean, I honestly, seriously, the only Polish I have is, not have, but we're listening to when he was on the phone to someone in Poland.
Okay.
And that was kind of late in my life, not from when I was a small kid. You know, Poland was a very different country when my father left.
Yeah.
It was a closed country, and to leave, you had to do certain things that wasn't in line with what my father wanted to do with his life. My father was an artist, he was a musician.
A pianist, yeah?
He was on horn, and then he ended up as a pianist, yeah. But he kind of, in many ways, just said, what Poland has done to me in the last 2 years, I don't like that. And so Poland didn't exist for him in the first many years. He was in Denmark. And I came into the world in that period. So, my father learned the language Danish very, very quickly, and he was speaking Danish to me. It would have been nice. It's something you appreciate that when you get to my age. That would have been nice to have been able to speak Polish, and we could do this in Polish. But it's what it is, and it took him a long time, and occasions were far and few between. And actually, I can count the occasions where he did speak about Poland and his life here on one hand. So he's taking a lot of secrets with him into the grave, and there's a lot of things that we don't really know about his background and his family, and it's crazy. I have half of my family here. I don't know them because they were not part of my life. So it's a weird one. But as you grow older and you start to think about why, when you're young, you do stuff, and then you grow older, you get more mature. You think, why? Why did I do that? What happened? Why was this? And then where? And eventually you end up with. So where have I come from? What's my roots? What's my origin? Of course, then you start to pay more interest to Poland.
Yeah. It has changed a lot since your father came to Copenhagen.
Yeah, and I was here quite a lot in 12.
Yeah.
Before the World Cup, the Euros, and also during the Euros. And now, even now, the 7 years, my God, it's changed so much.
Okay, but that's just the bridge between the culture and football, because we are here to talk about football. So my first question is about what is Robert Lewandowski doing at the moment? He scored 14 goals in Bundesliga. Yeah. The whole Manchester United team, 13 goals in Premier League. So that's a better result. And I'm asking about Robert in terms of Ballon d'Or, the France Football Award. How would you position him in this year?
Well, he he's in that group of players who could win it. And that's probably the easy answer to that. Now, what works against him is Bayern Munich's performance in the Champions League, and also that Poland is like Denmark. It's a country that you don't have many people outside Poland and outside Denmark, looking forward to our games.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch Germany play, I would watch England play, France play, Spain play. So when you put this to voting, you put it out there, how people vote is very much what they know and what they know about.
Yeah.
So with
it's like a little bit like popularity contest, yeah.
I think it is, and I think it in certain years it's been proven to be a popularity contest where you think, hey, we've just been through FIFA's best, and we always try to guess. You get the three names and who's going to win, and I got every single of them wrong.
Yeah.
And some of them I'm like this, seriously, even being surprised that person was in the three. So it is, it's how so obviously Liverpool did really well last year for the FIFA's best. You put those out to the public for them to vote, so they carry a certain percentage of the total vote. And Liverpool have a big following, so obviously they will vote for their people, and that's how it works. Not to say that they didn't deserve to be in there, but that's how it works. And when it comes to Robert Lewandowski, he plays for Bayern Munich, massive club. Big club in the world as well, but they don't have this incredible following. Yeah. They don't have this. You don't walk into a bar anywhere in the world and you see guys with Bayern Munich tattoos. Yeah. But you will walk into bars and see guys with Liverpool tattoos or Manchester United. That's a kind of passion those two clubs are, and maybe also Real Madrid and Barcelona. And then I go back to the Denmark-Poland thing. So we are from countries that are at a similar level with our club football. So we don't have clubs doing, incredibly well in the Champions League or winning the Champions League. So Polish and Danish football are looked at, like people don't really know about that. So when Poland plays, you don't have the whole world watching. Or when Denmark plays, you don't have the whole world watching. But when Germany plays, or Argentina plays, or Portugal plays, they have the whole world watching. So they, the players from those teams, they have a better chance of sort of showcasing themselves, and people take notice and remember because they watch them from time to time. So, from game to game, sorry. And this, I think, is his problem. So for him to win the Ballon d'Or, I think he has to obviously be top scorer, which he will be in Germany. Mm-hmm. He's got to score the most goals in the Champions League. Bayern Munich's got to win the Champions League, and he's got to do exceptionally well for Poland. Yeah. And that's unfortunately, for me, the reality of that.
Yeah. And that's the tough solution to obviously make.
Maybe not. But
he is the top scorer in Europe now, but I think it's not enough to win. You need trophies. Yeah, you need trophies.
I think you need to win the trophies.
Outside Germany.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think when people get to vote, right, what they have to have in the image they have is him lifting the Champions League trophy. Those kind of images are important for when people have, because if you want to, you can watch a game of football live every day, right? So you have to think about the amount of football that people are watching. So how do you remember back to someone's performance? Well, that picture with the trophy will stick to people's minds.
Unless you are Messi or Ronaldo, so everybody thinks about you in terms of that competition. So who would you type to win Ballon d'Or this year?
No,
Van Dijk, Messi,
I won't even
Ronaldo.
It's always going to be the same names out. Yeah. So Messi and Ronaldo is always going to be there. They have an incredible following. They what they do individually for the teams. It's just incredible what they've done, to be honest. Incredible what they've done. Van Dijk had a really good year. But was he the best player in Europe? It's a defender. Yeah, he had a really good. He's changed the fortunes of Liverpool. But was he the best player in Europe? It's so difficult.
It's always tough, yeah. It's always tough.
And I think it's tough. With Lewandowski, as I said right at the beginning, that he's part of a group who could win it, right? And there is a group who can win it. but there's only one guy who can break into the top three because Messi and Ronaldo will always be there.
Yeah.
So someone who will break that into that has got to have done exceptionally well or have an incredible following.
I want to ask you more questions about something that is closest to your heart, which is Manchester United. The situation at the moment, it's not the best. We can say easily, like 10th in the Premier League, only 13 points from 33 in the league. How would you describe the problems of Manchester at the moment? If you would have to like pick few points, what's the problem?
So the club has been in transition since Alex Ferguson left. So that's one thing, but there's been no plan. You know, with David Moyes, it was a ridiculously short period of time he got, which is, for me, still something that hurts me, that we could actually employ someone and then sack him so quickly. I thought you pick someone, you stick to your guns, and you see, at least you see a couple of years, you know, what can this guy do? We didn't, and then we went big name, with managers who has a track record of not being somewhere for very long. And when I say very long, we had someone for 27 years. Then 3 years is not very long, or 2 years is not very long. So because they work like that, they also make massive changes that fits their way of working. Mm-hmm. And when you do that and someone else comes in, that doesn't necessarily work for that someone else. Yeah. Then that's got to change. So we've made incredible changes to something that actually worked quite okay. And when I say changes, the change has been made to the culture, to so some of the managers. So what this club has always been, it's been a club where the academy and the first team and anything in between is one big unit, and the guys from the academy will actually see the first team players every day. Mm-hmm. They'll see them at lunch. They would sit and have their lunch, looking at that table and say, I want to be part, I want to go to that table, I want to work hard so I can have my lunch at that table. Little sort of images that was a very thought through process by Sir Alex, designed to make players give that little bit extra, understand the culture, understand what is needed. Now, one of the managers didn't want anybody than the first team in the canteen. Mm. You know, so who separating the club. No, you know, actually more than one of them. Okay. They wanted their team to have, you know, which is, and so even the staff couldn't eat. And that goes so much against what Manchester United is. Because Manchester United, when you cut to the chase, it's a family club. It's, you know, it's a tight-knit community that has experienced adversity on the worst scale and success on the best scale. And all has been achieved by standing together in, it's a working man's club. It's from you know, a really tough area in the northwest of England. And that kind of culture disappeared very quickly. Now Ole's got the job. Ole understands all this. Yeah. And of course, one of the things...
He was the part of class of 92 and you were inside of it. No, I don't mean he was from the class of 1992, but he was the part of the team who understood it, exactly. How it works.
And he understands how important culture is, and he understands how what needs to be put in order to get out of what you want. And so he has a plan. It's clear. I mean, you see, we saw the first transfer window. He unfortunately only managed to sign 3 players, but the message is clear. Daniel James, young, British, very exciting, quick, you know, got tricks and, you know, Van Bissaka, young British, very quick, very exciting, different. Harry Maguire, young British. So he's gone this route.
Greenwood, McTominay,
they were already there.
Yeah, but
so they come through the academy. So what he's doing is he's looking at the academy. So he's giving the younger players the opportunity, which has always happened, apart from the last 6 years, because you know, when you have managers that are short term, they don't care. They don't care about developing. They care about the result tomorrow and not the result in 3 years. And that's the kind of view you need to take as a Manchester United manager. That's what Ole is doing. Now his situation, or the situation of the club, is difficult because you cannot change everything in one day. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. So when he took over in December, you know, he was stuck with the same players up to the summer. He let some players go. I know he wanted to have a couple of more players out of the club. And he only managed to get the 3 players in where he probably wanted to have 5 players. Yeah. But now we come up to another transfer window and we see what happens here. But he is working to a plan, and I'm just praying every day that the club, the leaders of the club, understand that this is going to take time. And if we don't take the time now, we will be in the same space all the time. New manager, new manager, new manager. And it's just going to be the same.
Is it a problem of the boardroom, maybe, that they don't have that plan to stick to the certain strategy through the years?
I think it's a problem that there is no Alex Ferguson who created the culture in the newer times. So obviously there was a lot of things that he tacked into from when Sir Matt was the manager for equally as many years, and that he's not there is a problem because he was taking care of everything. So unfortunately, what happened on the same day was that David Gill and David Gill, who was the CEO, and then Alex Ferguson, they left on the same day. So all that experience just disappeared out of the club and wasn't really replaced. So you had to sort of look for it and rethink, and that was a problem. That's a problem. When you have someone like Alex Ferguson, who seriously was driving everything, you know, like this, he had a say with everything.
He was Man United.
He was, and he delegated out to people. So over years, that meant that he could actually control that. When he disappears, okay, that's a problem. Then you try to get someone in who can overlook that, and it's impossible. You can maybe today, because the club is so big, you can overlook all this, and then you need someone to take care of all that, and it's not happening. And this is like the confusion of the club: who's doing what, who's driving the culture, who's actually driving, who's got the plan, who's in charge of the plan. And for me now, I like Ole to be in charge of the plan. I want him to have the time and see the next 2-3 years through in what he's trying to do, and because that's the only chance we have. We can't buy players and then it starts. Yeah,
but inside, like in your honesty, do you think he'll get this patience in such a club who needs?
I can be worried.
The results all the time?
I can be worried because the way the media world work today, it's quick. It's all quick news. Quick.
Yeah.
So whereas, 15, 20 years ago, something happened, the journalist would write it down, it'd go in the paper tomorrow, or it would be in the news tonight, or on the radio. But now everything is instant, so you need to you have to push instant news out all the time. The craving for what is happening is incredible from the customers, the people. So, what is the story? The story, it's got to be Ole. Ole, yeah, he's got one game to save his job, and if he doesn't do this, and I'm not sure that that's how reality really is, but it becomes a story. And once that's a story, then the more times that you, as a fan, for instance, you hear that story, you read that story, you see that story, the more you begin to believe that this is wrong. And, Ole's got to go, Ole's got to go. Mm-hmm. So no one takes the time to sort of say, let's look at what's reality here. Yeah. What's going to happen if he does that? Because if they get rid of Ole, right? Yeah. What happens then? Yeah. First of all, you've got to find someone. Yeah. And everyone will say, Allegri. Yeah, good coach, absolutely good coach. But he's never managed in England before. So he's got to learn and adapt and bring new players. And then I think you have the same situation, Yeah,
and everything that you basically did before him possibly cannot fit, possibly, no, yeah, because he has different expectations.
and different views and different.
And it's all over again, over again.
So for me, this is where we have to. This is now where we have to invest in our future. So whatever happens in the next 2, 3, 4 years, we lower our expectations in terms of winning trophies. Lower that. But look at what's happening. Can we rebuild our academy? Can we become, produce yet another powerhouse that will, have players getting into the first team? Can we slowly start to rebuild the team so it becomes a strong team that can win trophies, that has got the right mentality, the right, culture, understanding of the club, the right respect, all these elements that you need to have in a club like Manchester United, and the players need to understand that and work towards it. Can that happen? Well, time will tell, but all it needs time.
Do you think that the squad at the moment has the quality to play for the places in the Champions League? No? They have to wait?
No, I mean, you look at Man City, fantastic squad of players. We saw what happened in the last 14 games when they really had to win games they can. It takes something very special to win 14 games consecutively under the pressure they were. You look at Liverpool, there's 1 point, 95, 96 points, 1 point separated them. To be runners up at 95 points is, I would cry. I would cry for a year because I don't even think I won the Premier League 5 times. I don't think I ever went to 95 points. And then you look at Leicester. People forget about Leicester. There's a much better squad of players, much more united squad of players, much more.
They have experienced balance. I think there's like
balance.
Nice
they've got youth and
atmosphere in the club. Yeah,
of course. You look at Chelsea, who for the first time in maybe in the whole existence cannot sign players.
Yeah.
And that means that they have to actually go back and look at the academy of the million players they have there and say, hey, this guy's quite good, let's play him. And then you have a Tammy Abraham there,
Yeah.
That would not have happened if they had the opportunity to buy strikers. Chelsea will buy star strikers.
Yeah.
Now he's been forced to do that. They have precisely the situation that they craved in their time in history. They cannot sign players. They had to change the manager. They're picking Frank Lampard, who is a young manager. He's done really well with Derby. Now he's come in and he is forced to go the route that he experienced himself.
Yeah. And suddenly they found out they have academy.
but that's a big difference because he would probably have done that anyway.
Yeah.
But then if it's gone wrong, they say, yeah, but that's Frank. Frank's trying to do what he experienced and it's not working. And now they're forced. That means Frank can never be criticized for playing the young players.
Yeah.
Can't. And it's working. Mason Mount. Who would have thought that Mason Mount would start every game for Chelsea? No.
He's a big one.
No. So you have that and you have a gap now from 4th position to the 5th of 6 points. And Leicester play Arsenal, who's in that 5th position next week. And I'm watching Arsenal. I can't see Arsenal beating Leicester. I expect Leicester to beat them. That means it's 9 points to Arsenal. And then you have, even further down, you have Manchester United. And that is a big gap. It's a big gap to close. And you need to look at the squad and say, hey, it's balanced. You got goals, you defend well. And it's not balanced. You don't know what team is coming out to play. Mm-hmm. And it's not due to rotation of players and resting players. It is tactical every time because all it needs to he needs to tweak his team every week in order to try and get the result. Or they have this strength, so we need to play like that. And that's, of course, not the way Manchester United normally would play or traditionally should play. But it's something he needs to do now because the squad is not good enough. But he will get the squad good enough. I'm convinced about that.
Last question I have to ask you about Kasper, because like father, like son is the saying that perfectly fits your family. Did you actually expect in the past that he will become such a good goalkeeper, that he's going to win the Premier League, which was outstanding with Leicester, that he's going to be like second you maybe even. Of course, you had so many trophies. and
So
stuff,
I always thought that whatever he would choose to do in life, I always thought he was going to be excellent at that, because he has that kind of mentality. He was quite late in deciding that he was going to give football a go. So for me, it wasn't like it was important for me that he became a footballer, but I supported him. It's been quite a journey. It's not been easy. It definitely hasn't been easy, but I take incredible pleasure of following his career, and in all this Manchester United talk we've just had, I in all this time I've had Leicester as my second team, actually. Even my first team, because the emotional attachment I have to my son and his team is bigger than any attachment I've ever had to Manchester United. It's more important for me, and I took more. I mean, it was the pleasure of them winning was bigger than something I experienced myself, because there you have your little child that you've seen grow up, and he's now with that trophy that you won it, but this is.
And you have
so
this
much
great
better,
picture together, when you won the trophy.
Yeah, you know,
that's a great
but
story.
what they, to cut to the chase, the most important thing for me when it comes to this talk is that he wakes up every day and he's happy, that he's doing something that he likes, and that he's giving himself an opportunity to improve on what he's doing every day, and he's, I mean, in the last 18 months he's changed his lifestyle, because he wants to play on for more than, and he knows that he cannot, so he's lost 10 kilos, he's changed his whole physicality, trains in a different way, eats in a different way, giving himself an opportunity to play on for a long time. I mean, the equivalent of that is the #1 golfer in the world says, okay, I'm #1 now, I can't go up, I can only go down, I need to change, so I'm changing my swing now. I'm changing it so when I move into the next phase of my life, when I'm 30 to 40, I know I can't go from there to there and have the same power. I need to find the power somewhere else. And he's changed it, 1 centimeter, which is going to mess him up, go from #1 to 240 in 1 year, but then he comes back and he's even stronger. And this has happened. Tiger Woods has done that. Nick Faldo was the first one. Henrik Stenson's done that. Mickelson, they've all done that. And that's a clever part of the top sportsmen. And Kasper's done the same thing. And I never spoke to him about that. I look at it and I'm thinking, well done, son. That's precisely what you have to do.
Okay, we could talk for many hours about football, but we have to finish, so thank you very much. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję. Thank you very much.
Peter Schmeichel, legenda Manchesteru United i reprezentacji Danii, była moim i Państwa gościem.